moment. Joshua Garis Photos is your partner in storytelling through stunning visuals. Every picture tells a story, and at Joshua Garis Photos, we make sure your story is unforgettable. From personal portraits to professional headshots, we capture the essence of who you are. Authentic, confident, you. We specialize in documenting life's cherished moments, turning events into timeless memories. Celebrate every moment. Stand out in your career with professional branding photography that speaks for itself. Elevate your brand. Don't just take a picture, tell your story with Joshua Garis Photos. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Visit us at www.jagarisfacephotos.com or call 475-434-0863. Follow us on Instagram at Joshua Garis. Book your session today.
Well, here we
There we
are.
go.
What's up?
Wow, got the gremlins out of the
Yeah,
the.
I went digging in the background and I realized that there were some gremlins back there. They told me that they were related to you.
Yes,
So
with
I was
trolls and
like,
gremlins, we're in the same union.
I know exactly who invited you. Welcome to Focus on You with Phil and Oscar. We are back. Welcome to 2025, man. 2024, we do not miss you. Bye. See you later. You stay right there in the past, and we're going to be just sticking to 2025 right here. But good to see everybody. This is going to be a great, great, great show. We have a wonderful guest just ahead of you. I'm looking at his website right now. Man, it looks fantastic. And we can't wait to introduce you. Who do we have on? Oscar Capel.
we have we have David C. in honor of your your inability to pronounce the last name for the past 7 years. So we will let him introduce himself as
Well, yeah, we do have David C here, and but his business is Goons for Good. His website
yeah.
is goonsforgood.org, and we're going to hear a little bit more about him later on. But of course, we have my good friend here, Oscar Capel, and he's going to talk a little bit about what he does.
What I do?
Now, if you ever want to go off the grid after you hear Oscar Capel, you can go to the website getoffthegrid.com.
Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna put that down.
I don't even know if that site exists, but hey,
I, after today, I can get you a good deal on solar panels and battery backups.
in the
It's an
mountains
inside
of
joke there.
Colorado. Go
No,
ahead.
this has been an amazing year. So far, I'm in the Mamaroneck Chamber of Commerce, and we got to christen two ferry boats from the Director shipyard that's built here. The two ferries, they're going down to um, Savannah, Georgia. So I got to meet the mayor of Savannah and a whole bunch of dignitaries there. We broke the champagne bottles on these two state of the art ferries that were made here. Um, Got to hang out with David C. the other day. We did a ribbon cutting at Plaza Park Furniture, Plaza Park Interiors, I think is the name. So I've been busy, having a great year so far. What I do when I'm not doing all this other crazy stuff is I am an associate with Legal Shield and ID Shield. So what we do is protect individuals, families, and businesses using the legal service in the 21st century that basically don't have to pay for a lawyer by the hour. If we do it right, then it'll just cost you a small monthly fee for the legal service. If you don't have a will, living will, healthcare power of attorney, that's built in. That's that could be $1,500 savings right there from day one. And on the identity theft, um, let me ask you something. Have you gotten these messages from people? Hey, haven't seen you. That their number don't show up. We've had 34 billion records stolen. These are bots that are taking the information that has been stolen and sold out, and they're trying to get your information that way. So with AI going on, also, I do identity theft and elder scam workshops because it is absolutely nuts. And if you don't have a company that can do the restoration for you, you're looking at years and thousands of dollars out of pocket, not to mention the stress. So that's what I do to help individuals, families, and business. And we take some of that money and support organizations to stop child sex trafficking in the US and around the world, providing dogs that can smell out thumb drives and places that people um, put pictures and videos. So those dogs are available to the police. Working internationally with police to try to stop the trafficking that is getting worse by the day. So that's what I do for fun and profit. My number is 646-578-7097. Shoot me a text. Let's see, what your how your family can be protected and how your business can be protected and how we can protect the country in general. I think that's all for today. Phil, back to you, and let's get to our guest
All right. No, wait. First, we got to
first.
play one of our videos for our partner, Miss Nancy Stingone, and then we're going to go right into our interview. All right.
Gotcha.
So let's play her video, and then we will be set forth. Here we go.
Here are 3 things you need to know about our gift lines and gifting programs. Imagine never missing an important celebration again. 1. Designed to impress. Our gifts are designed to match your recipient's tastes, likes, and hobbies. 2. Free gifting. We take care of your order from selection of your occasion gift to timely delivery. We handle everything from our first chat. 3. Cost effective. We save you money. We offer friendly budget gifts to our exclusive luxury line. Reach out to me by calling or text 914-707-0192 or get some inspiration on our website www.uniquecorporategifting.com. We want to support you and make every celebration effortless and unforgettable to your clients, friends, and family, and make you look like a superstar.
All right.
I'm doing my best Buddy Rich imitation here with the drums.
If we go any further without introducing our guest, I think everyone is going to start pulling their hairs out. I started early pulling
That's
my
just
hair out.
from
And this
hanging
is
out
what
with
it
me.
looks like. Now you have the before, which is Oscar, and the after. This is me. Okay. So without any further ado, we're going to have our guest come on, David. In case he ran off. Oh, there he is. Welcome to Focus on You with Phil and Oscar, David. Good to have you.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. I can't wait. I've got to know Oscar a little bit, and I'm still happy about that.
He says that now. You just wait about another 15 minutes.
Come at me. I'm the goon's father, so come on at me.
Yeah,
No,
absolutely.
Dave Chemensky. I met him when I went to the White Room with black curtains. It's part of Plaza and we hit it off. And I said, when I found out about all the stuff that he does, I said, I need to get you on Focus on You. Let's see if we can do maybe half of what you do in this show, and then we'll have you back for the other half. I can't believe this man fits into one day what he does. Um, who is Dave Chemensky? How did he get here?
How did he get here? Is definitely not. We don't have enough time for that, and I've got to lie down and talk about it. But who I am. So you see behind me the logo Goons for Good. So there's a little 4 there, and there's 2 guys. So this is actually the first podcast that we're recording from Plaza Park Interiors, right here in Mamaroneck and on Fayette Avenue, and right near our White Room. That's where we saw it. And as Oscar said, the White Room with black curtains, just like the Eric Clapton song. He's copying us. It's a great story of how that came about. But to what I am, so I'm a co-founder of the Goons for Good charity that I work with Morris about. We support other charities, and you just know you got to know a guy. You got to know somebody who either wants to help or is able to help, and that's the real powerful part is matching those two people. What we've done is, this was a charity that was born out of originally the recovery space, and if you go really, really back that far, Morris and I started the idea when we were 14, when we didn't even have any ideas about charity or anything. We were just some troublemakers, and we we had a bowling team called the Goon Squad, and that's how the name grew. And just doing that, we show up, we're helping out, and we always and now with using the White Room and Plaza Park Interiors, we get to have a place where people could drop off items. We're in negotiations even to help people in California. I heard California had some trouble recently, and that's what the Goons does. We just through our connection, through our network of people, we then meet people like Oscar. I mean, part of Oscar, I know he always jokes around, but the connections he makes, we're going to be helping some of the local Latino community to, learn how to speak on stage. That's what we do. All these different things just tie in who we are. What else do I do besides Goons for Good? I'm an author, speaker, podcast host, and I help people speak and align their messages along. Usually, I have in my background one of my many book covers because I'm an author and I help people get their story out. And that's why I love sharing the story about the Goons for Good because the impact we have on lives. There we go. That was a comedy show at the Little Village uh, Lutheran Church in June, and we raised to help the Mount Vernon Food Kitchen. We raised $1,600 to help the Mount Vernon Food Kitchen. So we're all about paying it forward, showing up, and yeah, I'm the goon father, but I want your lunch money, so that way we can kind of help somebody else out. Those are two of our goons who work with us. That's Edgar and Joe. So we bring everybody out, and we want everybody to be a goon, somebody who's just gonna want to do good because you want to do good, not because the reward is elsewhere, not just financial.
So let people know what how that bat goes into your tagline.
Yeah, so the bat is I have a podcast called Peace, Love, and Bring a Bat. And if you look closely, there's the logo of a little lotus person sitting on a lotus on a bat, sitting and meditating. Because that's really what we talk about when we can improve ourselves better. Get ourselves to that neutral zone where you can be calm. We were talking about that the other day, Oscar. And then it's really about swinging a baseball bat. It's the idea is when you hit your sweet spot, there's a power and you know you nailed it. No matter what you did, it could be a line drive to the shortstop. I use that a lot. It doesn't mean a home run, but when you know you did the best that you could do, at the end of the day, you'll sleep better. You'll be able to do that. And as we know, the baseball bat, it really goes to about balance. If you're on your front toes too much, you're not gonna have your power. On your back toes too much, you're not. It's that balance. It's that even swing. And I talk about the stories about how baseball applies to us and in our lives. I mean, Pete Rose said it the best. And we all are in the batter's box. That's how we adjust in the batter's box. We should never change who we are or how our swing goes. That's what got us here.
Speaking of how, and I know some of your stories. So you were in corporate America,
I was.
like I was, and then all of a sudden, you weren't.
Yeah, I mean, anybody in corporate America has to know. I mean, there's a trend in corporate America today. It's not you start there, when you're 18, and then you work your life and you get your gold watch. You might. There are still jobs that do that, but for most of us, once you hit 50, there's a bullseye. And I was working in an industry that every 5 years they would have a bloodletting. So guess what? On my turn on the conveyor belt uh, came last December, December 2023, and I had known that. So I've been building these. I've been coaching. I've been mentoring. I've been teaching people things about themselves. And then when I left, that's when I came on to Plaza Park. Morris and I know each other, as I said, since we were 14. He goes, let me see how we can work together. And it's taken us a year to really get our steps on, but we started seeing the vision. Morris had a vision, I had a vision. Even the White Room, we didn't know the White Room was going to be where we are now. When I walked in, I was like, man, this is great for presentation space. And he goes, no, this is just sit test. And then he trusted me. So there's a lot of big things, like you and Phil, you learn to trust. You might joke about each other, but you trust each other. And that's where the real power comes in. When we go to the White Room, is now a space where people can come, feel comfortable. There's an energy about it. You've been there a few times, and that's really it's on Peer Space. So anybody who's looking about the White Room, it's on Peer Space as well as there's a website. Uh, and that's where the real power comes into, going into finding that place where you can find home. We all want home and have the ability to see what we want to do and how we want to act it out. And that's where what we're doing here at Plaza Park. We already have done successfully. Morris has this company for 12 years. They're going on 13 of creating amazing furniture and an amazing culture. Now we're taking it out and showing it in different ways, because that's what we do as leaders. Morris is an amazing leader. If you don't know Morris Mayer, I would suggest get to know him. He's an amazing human being, and so is all his team. And now I'm one of that team. So the team got a little less amazing, but that's
Is that the White Room?
that's not the White Room. Definitely, if you go to First Space, that should not be the White Room. Oh,
click the link in the chat.
I think it's the White Room at 707. I think that's what it is. Yeah.
So you do quite a bit of things, man. I mean, that is like incredible stuff. I love that you have right there on your front page that you support veterans, right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah. So I was born on an Air Force base, so because of that, I was, I've always been my grandparents, both my grandfathers were in in World War II, so I have that military background, and I've seen how people change. Our military is amazing, and it will always be amazing, but they don't transition people out of the military in a good situation. And based on the situation that we go, you might not have experienced something. I mean, we have people who both my grandfathers came home differently than they went in, based on the experiences they had. And that's where we need to help people. Those veterans are something really special. They wrote a blank check, and we mourn them on Memorial Day, but on Veterans Day, we think it's all the same. It's not. There are people who don't come home. That's what Memorial Day is for, and we should, while I love barbecues, celebrate those people. But 364 days, we also should be supporting our veterans in terms of, so one of the collections we do is we collect socks, because the number one item that's needed at veteran homes is socks. Usually people can get t-shirts, clothes, and stuff like that, but socks are often forgotten about. We make sure, and think about it, when you're cold, as we start walking into the northeast weather, what do we see? Once you have nice, warm, clean, and warm socks, man, life gets so much better. So imagine when you don't have it, or you don't have the ability to have that. I've been, I live on Long Island, and every now and then I used to be asked to go into the woods to count, do the veteran count. And that's just a really scary set of things with people who are living probably out here also in Westchester, in the woods, in some areas where they don't want to be seen. They're happy to be isolated, and they need the help. They need to know that we still support them. That's where, as a society, talking about our mental health issues should be more vocal, because it's okay. It's fine that we fall down, just we don't stay there. Like you could drown in 1 inch worth of water if you stay there. The
Mm.
idea is to get up and do something better, and that's where, when knowing our stories, is able to share those stories. I share my story regularly when I go out. I'm a public speaker. I do the mentoring. I call it mentoring instead of coaching, because I've been through some dark places. I've gotten myself out. I know the resources. I now know how I could be a resource.
Mhm.
I talk about it all the time. You gotta get an Oscar shirt, one of those nice big pink shirts that says the R in hearts, and we put R words. There's a lot of different R words that we, rise, resilience, remember who we are, and those are really important things.
I find that is ultimate truth, and especially when you talk about mental health, because there's levels to that,
Hmm.
and there are levels where you can, of course, you can try to help yourself by, reading some books, or getting the right counsel, whatever, and then there's the higher levels of it where you can't help yourself. You're not at that space where you can pull yourself out. That's how dark the room can get.
I, I've been there. I attempted suicide 5 years ago, and to show you, I had already been helping people before that.
Mm.
So we know, we have the ICTA disease. I know that already. And when we know something so surely, we generally don't know it because we don't apply it. Like, oh, here we're already at the 16th day in January. How many people started a gym membership and have already not shown up yet? Like the old joke I say, man, I got to talk to the manager at the gym because this gym membership is not working out the way that they promised. And but the problem, yeah, but the problem is I have to show up at the gym to talk to the manager. So that's where the problem starts, and that's where the problem lies. So reading those books are important because it gets you to open your mind. As I used to say when I was a recovery coach, opening that window when you think that there is no window, that's really powerful. But we all need to know our levels, and we need to have resources. That's one of the R's that I love talking about, is being resources. As Oscar was talking about earlier, we all might not have a lawyer, but if we go into Legal Shield, guess what? We have a lawyer at our disposal. We have a resource when it happens. You don't want to have a resource when there's an emergency. You want to have a resource before there's an emergency. That way you're protected. And that's really what we do as goons. We want to know that, when you're going through something, we're here for you. We have, some missions. We don't support every mission. We also are supporting these other 501c3 organizations. I mean, we've been on, there's an organization called Disability Dream and Do, D3 Days, which helps special needs individuals. We went to Wappingers Falls. I've been there, and you help special needs children play baseball on the minor league field up there. Man, when you are with people who believe that they're playing on Yankee Stadium with that belief and the love of the game, and meeting the three Ds. I mean, the three guys who run that organization. Doug Cornfield is part of the heart, but then you talk to Dave, Dave Stevens, who used to work at ESPN and has won numerous uh, Emmys with ESPN. He was working at ESPN, and he's one of the guys who Darryl Strawberry, who we know as local, baseball, knew motivated him to get back into baseball. They both played on the St. Louis, not St. Louis, sorry, St. Paul Saints, which you can find on Netflix. There's a great movie called The Saint of Second Chances about Mike Beck, the son of the great Bill Beck, who helped everybody with second chances. Because we all need those second chances.
See that I love what you do because it's like you're not like preaching. This is what you need to do. It's like no, I've been there, done that. There was that one episode of The West Wing where one of
I
the
use
guys
that
was
story all the time.
tell it in case people aren't.
Yeah, I love that story because the story is, hey, Oscar fell down a hit, and he might want to get out of that hole, right? We're in a hole, and Oscar might go, hey, Dave, could you help me? As a friend, I would love to help him, but what am I going to do as a friend? I can't help you, but then we would both be down there. Then you might reach out to a religious. Hey, I need to say prayers, and then somebody like me will come over, and I'm going to jump in, and most people will say, man, now we're both stuck. The great thing is I know the way out. And that's why I like using the word mentor instead of coach. To me, a coach is, I'm sending into place, Oscar, you got to do this. Rick, you got to do this. I want to do everything. I want to be there. I want to tell you exactly what I did when I faced that issue or an issue that I've assisted somebody through. It's not that I've gone through everything, but I've gone through a lot in life at this point, and somehow I've gotten through it, which is the first thing we have to figure out how to do. Then the next thing is how to rise out of that hole. And sometimes people are going to come into our hole and keep digging, and we have to not be with those people. Find the people who know the way out if they've done that and they've done the next level to kind of maintain it. It's not just getting out of that hole. Make sure we don't fall back into that hole.
That's why the goons for good, because if you don't know, a guy that will be able to jump in that hole and say, here, here's how we get out of it.
Oh, the idea behind the goons is really growing up in the city, in New York City or any other area that might have some people that had certain clubs, but you knew if you in the neighborhood, you knew if there was a problem, you go to that club, somebody's going to help you out. You train. I've heard stories. You train your girls, your women, if they're walking down the street at night and you feel unsafe, you walk into that club and they walk you home. So that's what the goons is. We're that person. If you come to us, we're going to figure out a solution, or we might know a guy. So if I know a guy, I'm going to give you to that guy. I'm going to that person. Because we help women's issues, so it's not always about a guy. I once got yelled at because I have that New York accent, and they go, "What do you mean, guy? How about women?" I'm like, I know a person doesn't sound as good as I know a guy, and it all depends on who
Guy
talks about
is
it.
cross gender. Okay,
I get it.
You're right.
Old
You
guy,
can't. I know a person.
guy.
No,
I know a person doesn't sound right. Yeah, it's like you sound lost. But if I know a guy, you know a guy, and that's what we want to be. We want to be those guys who show up and participate. It's not out like when we go to D3 events. Last year we had almost 15 people from Goons, and it wasn't about us. We were a sponsor. We showed up and we do the things that we need to do. But the more important part is not just showing up, is the work that we do when we show up. One of my mentors was the guy who created this little organization called Make a Wish. And I'm sure we all heard about it. Frank
Yes.
Shankowitz is the name of the guy. There's a movie, The Wish Man. It used to be on Netflix. It still might be. I really should check it out. But if you can find it, check it out. It's a story about a policeman who just was having some bad luck, and they gave him an opportunity to help a boy with cancer who was dying, who just wanted to be a policeman. And the advice that Frank gave me, not only about that situation, is sometimes we just have to show up and do the good work. We don't have to give our money. Our money is great, and believe me, all the organizations, including my own, would love money. But I also want you to show up. I don't want you just to write the check. I want you to be a goon to not only fund me, but also to show up. That if I have pink cans, like an organization in New York, that's based out of Long Island, who say, I want you to send us all the cans possible, so that way we can help people with cancer. It's called Pink Cans for Cancer. So those are type of organizations that we support that then become helping other people. It's not only the check that might go to somebody else. It's the activity. It's the activity about showing up. And I can tell you a story. Right after my suicide attempt, I wanted to help back. I knew I had to. The one thing I wasn't good at was killing myself. So what I had to do is It was right
Glad
around
about that.
Thanksgiving.
That's a good thing.
No, me too. Yeah, out of all the things I'm proud to not be good at, that's one of them.
That's one of them.
And yeah, but I had gone to a food kitchen to try to help during Thanksgiving that year, and they were like, they had me signed up on the list. They were like, well, we got too many people. How would you? You're kind of a big guy. Would you mind being the security guard? I was disappointed because I was looking at me and saying that what Dave could do for somebody else. Well, what Dave did that day, he was a security guard. But what happened is there was a mother out there crying, talking to the pastor at that church that I was helping out at. And I have some techniques, much like I'm going to show you guys, teach you guys how to touch yourself in a special way to feel better. I know what you're thinking, but it's just
You know, Rick, by any chance?
I'm showing you what to do. Okay, that's it. It's if you rub your hands nice and slow in a little bit, it will create delta waves. It'll create feel good energy that's going to calm you down. So if you're in traffic, you're getting upset, boom, you could do that. I will guarantee everybody who's listening here has 2 to 3 minutes a day to reset themselves no matter what and no matter what's going on. So I taught that woman that night how to reset herself. And I taught the kids how to calm themselves down and have a fun time. They also just wanted somebody to care about them. So while I was at the beginning looking at that ego, I need to help somebody to make me feel better, I got a lesson taught to me that show up what you want to do. It might not be how you want it, but at the end of the day, I walked away with a prayer in my heart and a woman who at that moment was able to have a happier Thanksgiving just by me showing her that little rubbing technique on how to calm themselves down. And that's among the work that I do when I work with my veterans, where you started out. When I work with my veterans, teaching people how to reset themselves under any circumstances is a really big thing. I mean, look, I know you guys are great guys, but I'm sure at some point it's also better to rub your hands than to get your hands around somebody. And
True.
I'm sure neither one of you get anybody upset. So now you could teach your people. But if somebody ever upsets you, you could just be standing there and be nodding inside your head, okay, it's okay. And rubbing your hands is better than getting yourself worked up. And there's so many things that I love talking about and being part of, because you never know who needs to hear these things. And this reset button, I've spoken to hundreds of people at times, and crowds up to 1,000, depending on where I am. And I love talking about it. I even helped this woman one time while I was on a vacation in Cuba. She was getting upset talking about the revolution. Her dad was a revolutionary, so she grew up with that mentality. And when she's talking about it, I go, can I just talk to you during one of our breaks? I showed her. She goes, I feel good. She goes, I feel good enough almost to talk to my dad. I go, okay, I can't promise you that. But it's the knowing, it's again, using one of those R's, the resources within ourselves to heal ourselves, to reset ourselves, and then to renew where we are. No matter what's going on outside of us, we have no control in. We do have a control in what is going on within ourselves.
Yeah, and driving in New York traffic, I usually, do feel better using hand gestures. But I'm
Yeah,
going to try this one instead of the other one.
Yeah, the other one might get you into a little more trouble. That is accurate.
Okay, my advice to you is don't pull over and get out of your car. Okay, that is my advice. No matter how upset you get, stay in your vehicle and keep it moving.
Well, he knows a lawyer, so he feels more confident.
I know. Oh man, David, this has been an amazing, amazing interview. But before we give you your final closing statement, we're going to play one of our ads, and then we would like for you to kind of like let the people know what you like them to walk away with. All right.
Hey, don't forget to put the white room in the. We'll talk about that for a second also.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. Yeah,
exposing the magic in every moment. Joshua Garis Photos is your partner in storytelling through stunning visuals. Every picture tells a story, and at Joshua Garis Photos, we make sure your story is unforgettable. From personal portraits to professional headshots, we capture the essence of who you are. Authentic, confident, you. We specialize in documenting life's cherished moments, turning events into timeless memories. Celebrate every moment. Stand out in your career with professional branding photography that speaks for itself. Elevate your brand. Don't just take a picture, tell your story with Joshua Garis Photos. A picture speaks 1,000 words. Visit us at www.jagarisfacephotos.com or call 475-434-0863. Follow us on Instagram at Joshua Garis. Book your session today.
Yeah, that was Nancy and Rick in that picture. I'm like, I recognize those two.
Yeah, well, Joshua is an amazing photographer, and he's one of our partners in the network. Very great guy. You would not be disappointed using his service. All right, so David, tell us a little bit more about this White Room experience. I'm going to share the screen now.
I'll tell you, so the past couple of months when we really rolled it out, we've been really lucky, not only doing presentations, so you'll see some of the pictures up there during some of the presentations, workrooms. We've had product launches, but we've also rented out the room for people's holidays. For Thanksgiving, Morris called me up 2 days before Thanksgiving. A family was looking to a place to celebrate. And he already had plans, and I didn't have plans. I said, bring them on. I sat with this family. I sat out, in our little office. They invited us in, and the family celebrated. What they left over fed an army. And it was really nice. This energy here, you could watch TV with your family. It's like a really big living room. Where do you have a living room? You could sit 40. I don't know about you. My living room doesn't sit 40. And have room for food. And that you don't have to clean up. And you don't have to do so much more. We work with everybody. We now have booked a couple of other parties. So we're getting a lot of traction. Like I said, on PeerSpace, you're showing our website. There's a lot of great things. That's why I say you got to come by 707 Fenimore, because there's an energy. We just had the ribbon cutting. That's why we were here. We celebrated our White Room, but it was really celebrating Goons being a member of the Mamaroneck Chamber of Commerce, Plaza Park joining the Mamaroneck, and surrounding yourself with the right people. When you surround yourself with the right people, there's so much power. That's why we want to be in the right networks. Right? The Hamilton song, right? You got to be in the room where it happens. You got to know the people where it happens. Connect to the right people. People who really want to be part of what you do and see you succeed. I mean, that's really what that first conversation, that high conversation, was with Oscar. He was coming in to seeing how we can help some of our Latino community and seeing what we could coordinate and what the chamber could do for us and what we could do for the chamber, make it go both ways. And that it was supposed to be like a half-hour conversation, lasted probably about 2.5 hours, because there is so much going on within Plaza Park, within my own life and what I do. So it's just, once you come in, it's also one of the things I said to Oscar, once you get in my little circle, it's tough to get out. It's like the Death Star. You got to take off the cluster beams.
It's like the Death Star.
Every time I try to get out, it brought me back in.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
But it's so much fun. I mean, especially like this past year, I did a polar bear plunge in Coney Island because it's for charity. So, when there's charity, it always picks me up. And then I became a stand-up comedian. So we're trying to get more. That's where we raised the $1,600 for the Mount Vernon Food Kitchen. So it's not only looking at our community here, we want to build up all of the communities that we're part of. And it's really the overall world. There's a saying from the Talmud. It was in the Schindler's List. If you save one person in the world, you save the world. So we want to make sure that we're saving more than one person. So, and then again, Muhammad Ali says, the price we pay to live on this planet is a service we do for others, not from others. So we just keep paying. Something like being on your show. You're doing this, getting my message out there. I appreciate that, and I'm going to make sure that we pay all that kindness that you're giving us.
My friend Schwartz says, one mitzvah can save the world. Two will just make you tired.
It
feeds you up, man. I would disagree with your friend Schwartz. I got to tell you, the more that you do, the more. Look at you can hear my energy, and this I haven't done any good yet, other than being on your show. So I can't wait.
Now you got to
the
go
rest of
up
my
to good.
No, but I agree with you, David. Doing good doesn't cost much. I mean, even just in doing this and talking about it, you don't know who you're inspiring to do more good, right? I know I meet people all the time who are trying to figure out, what's my purpose, what's my niche, what do I need to get involved in? I hate my job. What should I do next? 2025, I'm going to come alive. Everybody comes up with these themes to kind of go into shift into what they're really made to do. I think you found yours. And I think just in talking about it, you don't know the effects you're having. There's so many times I've discovered that even in the small things that we do that we think is irrelevant, you might be just changing somebody's life with it.
You just gotta show up, and it's that one seed. You never know. There's a book, and this is like the third time I've mentioned it. I probably gotta reread it. There's a book by Mitch Albom, says the 5 people you meet in heaven,
Mhm.
and it's not always your mom, your dad, other people. It might be the guy that you step like in this story. He had once stopped somebody from jumping in front of a bus, just putting his arm up there,
Mhm.
and that was the only interaction they had in their life. But that man meant so much, and it just guides you into the kingdom of heaven. And I think about that every time I meet somebody. Am I going to be their person that maybe I meet them to transition them when it's my time, or are they going to meet me? And you start looking at people differently of how
Right.
you react, and when you can see that, that's why when I have a talk about giving, that based on the conversations I've had with Frank, were really about just showing up. Frank, his parents moved away from him, and he was left alone at 12. And somebody gave him the advice that said, all you have to do is show up. How do you feed? Go paint that lady's. Ask her if she wants. We'll exchange food for that. Sometimes you just have to show up, and by showing up again, like on those D3 days, or the day that I helped on that Thanksgiving, while it might not have been what I thought it was going to be, it turned out to be so much more. God in the universe, is my belief, is really will multiply when you really want something and you do the work. It's not just sitting or reading a book and going, "Oh man, I hope it's going to get better," and this is what's going to happen. Taking the actions, showing up, and doing those things, man, that's what the energy. That's where a helping hand helps too. It doesn't only help the person who needs to be lifted up; it helps the person who's lifting up. It makes you feel good when you've done something good.
Man, that is a very powerful closing statement. I don't even think we can move beyond that. Go drop the mic, let it go, let it simmer a little bit. But we really appreciate that, David. We would love to have you back on. Uh,
Anytime, man.
I think.
Anytime. I love doing this, and now I'm gonna have to say, losing my job is generally the worst thing that you could ever hear. For me, it opened up and made me focus so much better. That I've been blessed this past year. No job, hanging out with Morris and the Plaza Park team. Man, that's been awesome. But my life, and I see it going higher. I see the levels when you are focused in a different way. You get to go to that next level.
You get to go to that next level. Yeah, exactly. And for those of you who are watching, you don't get to where David is easily. And like he said, he's traveled through some alleyways and some you meet some dragons along the way, meet some angels too, which is great. But the dragons make you stronger. For sure.
Well, you get to ride them, you get to fight them, and then you ride them, right? If you watch any of those Game of Thrones, right, stuff,
Right.
The dragon. There's lots of stories about the dragon. Once it's like anything else, like street ball. Once you get that cred, the guys know you. They
Yeah.
like you. They know that you can hang it out. Same thing with the dragons, and the great thing with a dragon, it'll get you to fly. I love talking about the phoenix, and it'll soar you higher
Me
and
too.
higher.
Yeah.
Also, here's a funny thing. I think it was one of the first times we met. I said, "You got to be on the Phoenix National Network," and he gave me this look like, "You mean like Arizona?" I was like, "No, the Phoenix that came." He goes, "Look at the jacket I'm wearing. It's a Phoenix." I'm like,
Oh my goodness! Wow! 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 Yeah, that's one of the symbols I really love
Yeah.
because what it represents, you know, and I think that most people that have gone through something can connect with that. You know,
I say this. I did a TEDx talk saying that there's a phoenix within each one of us. If we see it differently, people have gone through much worse than I've gone through. I don't want to,
mhm,
but we. The great thing is we've recovered from everything that we've gone through.
mhm,
It might not feel that way at the beginning, but knowing that mentor, again, when we talk about that story, knowing about somebody who's willing to sit in that dark hole and help you get through it, assist you, because it's all about you. Again, that reset button.
mhm.
People go, "Wow, man, you should just help me." Like, no, you got to help you. And that's when I worked in that recovery space. You got to help you. It doesn't matter. You could go to Sigmund Freud, and still not get what you need if you're not willing to help you. So the first thing is
True. True.
meet somebody where they're at.
Hmm. That is exceptionally true. Well, thank you again, David, for
Thank
coming
you.
on.
Thank you.
We really enjoyed having you on the program. Those of you who are watching, don't forget to go to goonsforgood.org for more information. And Oscar, any final words from you?
just going with what David has said, and I watched someone the other day. It was a really short clip, and he says, "Do you ever see a lobster? And the only way for the lobster to grow is to get uncomfortable in its own shell, and it's got to break out. It's got to hide somewhere because it's soft.
Hmm.
Break out of that shell and grow. So unless you're uncomfortable, you're not going to grow."
Wow. Thank you, sir. That was good. That was good.
Sound good?
David, don't jump off. We're going to do the
I got you.
closing credits and move on forward. Folks, thank you so much for supporting us. Those of you who are watching now, those of you who are going to be watching after this. And we will see you again next week with one of our special guests. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye. Oh, wait, don't forget to visit pnnbusinesssolutions.com. We have some great services that we're starting to offer you through the Phoenix National Network. And I mean, I'm very excited about 2025 because we'll be helping people grow their business and earn extra income while they're at it. All right. Take care, everybody. Peace and love.